crowds have died down a little bit.
And I just want to tell my loyal viewership that I really appreciate this, because I spend every single day walking over and explaining the same thing to everyone that comes in, because we get a lot of first timers. So just being able to sit here amongst my babies and chatting with you folks is keeping me sane. You are keeping me sane. I know lately I've been doing a lot of videos, but survival mode, and this really helps keep me centered. Let's see here. So, hi Anthony, and I should have sent that bow out. I should have. I just, haven't had a chance to escape, so I'm going to throw in an arrowhead, a stone point, or an arrow, something special, just to make up for the fact that at this point I'm 2 days late sending this bow out. But try to keep things good, and you've been such a great return buyer and a friend, so I'm going to do you a solid and make up for the fact that I'm sending out your bow late. I get the things done, but I can't always get out to the post office. And so Anthony's question was, as far as how long do I soak rawhide? And the only answer I can really give, it just depends on the rawhide. I soak it in warm water, not hot, not cold, but warm. It seems to work well. Put a little bit of Dawn detergent in it too. If you're going to be gluing that rawhide, which, oh, I'm out of words, man. Brain freeze. I need more coffee. Which is usually the case. There we go. You're usually gluing it. And that Dawn detergent that's in it, when you have kind of a damp or wet system, helps break down surface tensions and helps the glue soak into it. You don't even need to rinse that Dawn detergent water out of it. I just leave it in there. That's fine. And so, how long does it take? It depends on the thickness. It could be, with warm water and a little Dawn, my mind keeps stopping here, as little as a half an hour if it's thin rawhide. It could take 2 hours if it's thicker, not sanded, just the natural thickness of a deer. You just have to get it to the point where you can take it and you feel the stretch. I don't soak it until it's just like thick and waterlogged. That's unnecessary, like overnight. Usually it takes between a half an hour and a couple hours, and it's just a matter of when you can stretch it. When it becomes pliable, that's enough for the purposes. In my last one about the rawhide handle, I kind of misspoke. I'm only sizing it on the bow dry. I apply it after it's been soaked, so then it'll stretch or shrink further. When it's on a drying frame, it stops it. It doesn't achieve its full shrinkage. And so even though you're fitting it dry, and you could obviously, tighten it around there and size it, it's not necessary. It really isn't necessary when you're doing handles. You can fit it dry if there isn't a severe change because of the handle and stuff like that. If it is like a longbow, narrow, deep handle, and there's great differences in contours, do soak it a little bit, as much as you have to be able to bend it around things and fit the contortions. But on this, it's not such a, or this one rather, it's not such a severe change, because of compound curves and stuff, that I can't fit that dry. Everything is like its own animal, so you just have to think your way through it. This is this one. It's dark on the center, which means it's still drying. The wet application process on this is the one where I was using soupy glue and wet fibers. Fissures are developing more than they would have if I did it the dry method. And so I'm thinking back at what I've read about these bows, and they would take ground limestone or something, mix it with hide glue and fill the fissures. Fissures are more of an issue doing it this way with wet sinew bundles and then soupy glue. Maybe it's also more information that would lead us to believe that they did it the soupy method, because more fissures form in it. And so to paint the surface, and you wanted as smooth as possible, then the ground limestone and the hide glue, that kind of makes sense. Along with when I wrapped this and really cinched it down, even after 2 days of drying, glue was squeezing out through the wraps. There we go. I have rubber band on this one. I already did this one. I don't want that sinew to pull up, and rubber bands might not give it enough tension. So what I'm doing is, you don't even know that I'm chewing on tendons. I pulled out for my never leave home without it. Pulled a couple strands out, and I glutified these things. Works the same way when you're fletching. Is that if you're chewing these things, that they get all gluey, and you don't need to add any glue. So I'm going to take this, temporary wraps again. I'm going to put it over that inside corner. Look at, no hide glue is used in the process of this. It doesn't need to be. These will stick down because of the gluey nature of the sinew molecule. And so, put those over, and when they shrink, they will self-glue, and that'll keep that inside corner from popping up. It's not going to be the kind of sinew job where you can't then peel them up and you've got your fibers again. Put them dry. Doesn't matter if they dry out, just chew them up again until they're soft. Fletch your arrows with it. And so there is that. This little paddle ball, I'm not going to stress it out, but this is working out nicely. Welcome to Paddle Ball Central, man. One on there, I'm doing the tips, two on there. Beautiful conditions. Heavy winds, good for drying stuff. Got my little ash and elk sinew bow there drying alongside that little 45 pounds at 24 inches of draw, and I actually drew it to 25, 50 pound or 50 inch bow drawn to 25 inches, no issues, and that's it. I'm going to stop talking now and get another cup of bad instant coffee. Life isn't a sprint. Life is a marathon. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.